Hi, I'm Danielle Direcno, and I'm going to be giving you your basic form building training today. We're going to go through every question type and layout type in a form and how to create it. So first, when you create a new form, you're going to be going to the Forms section under Administration. And then you can either add a new form or import a form. We have many different templates on our help site. And then we have set roles in view. You can also search and filter in the Forms section as well. So today we're going to create a new form, and then you're always going to have to give it a name, a category, and the description is optional. So today we'll just call this equipment request. And then we don't need to give it a description every time, but then you'll save it and it'll bring you to this form building screen. So here's the drag and drop environment where you're going to be able to add different questions and different layouts. So we're going to go through each one of these, but I'm going to first go through these tabs right here. So this is your main form building screen. This is where you're going to do your drag and drop with all the questions. And then here is the rules tab. This is going to allow you to add conditional behavior to your questions. JavaScript and CSS. So this is going to be a way that you can customize your form via JavaScript, and then CSS is more of like a layout and style configuration. And preview is going to be where you're able to visualize what the form will look like to your end user or during a process. So you'll be switching between the form builder screen and the preview screen throughout your building process. And the detail tab is going to be where you set roles and permissions. You can delete it, copy it, version it, and then here is going to be a full list of the questions if you want to see them in like a list format, and then export as well up here. You can also change the name of your form here and change the category, and then here is where you'll enter a description if you ever want to change it or add one. And then here is the save and save as template down here. Then the references tab, this is going to show you any process that this form is a part of. So if you want to go in and make changes to a form, it might be good to check the references tab before doing so, because this form might be used in multiple different processes, so it might affect things down the line. So this is a good tab to check when you're building processes and forms. So forms are built with sections and containers. Sections hold the containers and containers hold the questions. So here you can see we have a section and a container. Every form will automatically come with one section, one container. Down here in the layout section is where you can drag new sections in and multiple different containers in a section. This is just how questions can be grouped together in different containers as well. So how you'll edit and delete, this is the pencil icon to edit the section. So you can edit the name of the section and choose any of these options right here, or you can delete it with the X. So if you want to change the number of columns a container has, you'd go to the pencil icon in the container, and then you can edit the number of columns. So now you can see there's this line in the middle, so the questions will be split up side by side. I'll give you an example of that. So dragging and dropping two different fields in, now you can see they're on different sides. Let's say if I had one column and I added a question to it, it takes up the whole column or the whole container. So that's just how the different columns would look. Let's make it 3. Now you can see 3 columns. So when you have a question on your form, how you're going to edit it is going into this pencil icon right here. So under this basics tab, this is the label. This is what you're going to name it. So we'll just put name for now, client IDs and class, and then you can also edit the width. You can make it disabled, read only, or hidden. And then under validation, you can make this field required, set a minimum and maximum length, and use regex. And then under this help tab, this is really convenient because it can be added. So there's a clickable question mark next to the question, and you can add details on how to complete this section. So now I'm going to go through all the different question types and what they're used for usually. So this short text is used for a single line text entry field, and then the long text is usually used for longer descriptions or something a little bit longer, a multiple line text entry field. And then a select list, this is going to be a drop down list of values, and this can also be bound to a database query. So if we go into this pencil icon, we can also allow user to select multiple options here. And then how you would add, if you want to hard code it, in the multi-choice options, this is where you would add the multiple ones. So we'll put red, blue, yellow, and make sure to save it. And then if we go jump over to this preview tab, we can now see that they are here hard-coded into the select list. And then if you wanted to add the database, you would do so right here under the DB tab. The way that you edit checkboxes are very similar to the way that you would edit a select list. So in the pencil icon and multi-choice option, that's where you're going to add the different checkboxes. And there's also another option here where you can make them vertical or horizontal. So the way that the checkboxes are listed, I will show you. So we'll add a couple options here. So see here they're vertical, and if you go into the pencil icon and change it to horizontal, they're going to be listed horizontally. Next we have radio buttons, similar to checkboxes, but you would use this if they're only selecting one usually. So see here in preview, you can select one here. Here you can select multiple. Or you can also turn this option off for checkboxes. It's just up to you how you want to edit your form, but radio buttons are a little bit different than checkboxes. Calendar field, this is going to be a pop-up calendar to enter dates. Here under the pencil icon, you can see you can have it initialize with today's date, and then you can also make it read-only so no one can edit it. So let's see here, if we go to preview, it's going to automatically populate today's date. File attachment, this is going to be where the user can browse their desktop and upload one or more files to the form being submitted. Next one is going to be contact search. This is going to be a specialized lookup that allows the end user to search and select one or more contacts. And then we have search box. This creates a pop-up search window that enables a search against secondary data sources. So you can put your database in here. Next is going to be the email field. This is going to be a single line short entry. Integrify is going to validate that this is a valid email format. Next is going to be number. Integrify will also validate that this is a number, and it can also be changed if you go into the pencil icon again to currency, and you can decide what type of currency it is. I'm going to drag a new container in here so you can get a better look at the grid. I'm going to add a couple columns just so you can see. So here you can see right here what the grid would look like if you added multiple columns and rows. And then here, another great option is being able for users to add row button and allow users to delete rows if they're entering information. Rich text, this is going to be just a rich text entry field where users can enter in text and edit it. So here you can see in the preview what it will look like to the end user. Next we have link. This is going to be a single line. Integrify will validate that it is a common link pattern. Time zone, this is going to be a list of different time zones. This is generally used to update a user profile. Password is pretty similar. It's used to update a user profile. It'll have password and confirm password, and this is a masked entry field. Signature, this is going to allow a user to put a signature on the form, so we'll go to preview. You can see down here at the bottom that there is a signature field where you could sign. So next we're going to go through the layout options. Section is going to be a divider, and then the containers are going to be used to group questions together. The next option would be an image. So you can add an image here, use the pencil icon, and then you can click here or drag and drop and edit the height and width. Next we have horizontal line. This is just a visual border to add to a form that'll add the line there. So if you were to add something else below it, you can see in the preview, it's just adding a horizontal line to break it up. Form text, this is going to be a read-only label. You can add different text here. So here you can see I added this text here, and it'll show up that way on the form for the user. The next layout option is going to be blank space. This is used also for formatting purposes if you wanted to add a blank space in between question types. Button, this is going to be you're going to have to use JavaScript to use this and configure it. And then custom is going to be functionality via code. Now that you've completed basic form building, you can move on to basic process building.